Join us on the program right now. Very pleased to have with us the executive director of Go Proud, Jimmy LaSalvia. And Jimmy, thank you for coming on the program tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. All right, you got an op-ed out in the Advocate, how an imaginary gun saved my life. You live in Washington, D.C. You live and work there, right?
I do, right on Capitol Hill.
Okay, and so you were riding your bicycle home from Capitol Hill, when was this, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, this was just Friday night, about a week ago.
Okay.
Not quite a week ago, a few days ago. And it was Friday, just as the sun was going down, probably around 8 o'clock. And I'm riding my bike, and towards the right side of the road so cars could pass me. So I was pretty close to the sidewalk where there was a group of young fellows. There were about 8 of them walking toward me, but they were on the sidewalk. And before I knew it, one of them had lunged out into the street toward me and just punched me across the chest. And, of course, I had the momentum of my bike going into that.
Yeah.
So it really knocked the wind out of me and knocked me off the bike. And I was able to catch myself. But just as he did it, as he was pulling away, he said an Antigay slur toward me. And then I wasn't sure what was going to happen, Cam. His friends, realizing what was happening, a couple of them kind of puffed up their chests like they were getting ready to get in a fight, and I didn't know what was going to happen. So I got to my backpack and was reaching really for my phone to call the police.
Okay.
And as I was fumbling through my backpack, I couldn't find my phone, and one of the kids said to his friends, "Does he have a gun, or is he getting a gun," or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I just let them think that, and kept my hand in my bag as I stared at them long enough for one of them the one who wondered that, started running. And, just that doubt, that question in their mind seemed to be enough to turn the tide of that situation.
Yeah.
Those guys could have finished me off. I was kind of in a vulnerable position, or they could have taken off running. And it was that suggestion that I might have a weapon that turned the tide. And, it's something that we talk a lot about at Go Proud is, we're part of the Leave Me Alone Coalition, we call it, and small government, limited government, pro-freedom gay organization. And we're not proponents of big government hate crimes laws, and, because we don't think they prevent any crimes.
Yeah, in fact, I thought it was interesting in your story. You said none of them said, quote, "There's a law against anti-gay hate crimes," and then ran away.
Right. That didn't keep them from beating me. What kept them from finishing me off was the threat that I might have a weapon. And I'll tell you, I grew up in a hunting family and had guns, but I haven't hunted for a long time. And to be honest with you, well, Washington, D.C. is a pretty pro-gay city. There's a lot of gay people that live here, and I've never felt unsafe as a gay person here. And so I've never, I don't own a gun. And I can tell you that I certainly have rethought my position in terms of personally owning a firearm now, having had this experience. I've used examples of other people preventing violent crime by having a gun when I've talked about concealed carry reciprocity legislation or other pro-Second Amendment policies.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never had a story of my own until now. And sometimes it takes that personal experience to really bring it home, and it's caused me to redouble my efforts in working toward solid pro-Second Amendment policies in this country so that folks like me can lawfully defend themselves
Well,
when they're in a situation like that.
you know, that's the thing. I mean, self-defense is a human right, Jimmy. In Washington, D.C., the city government there makes it darn difficult, if not impossible, for
I know.
the good folks of Washington, D.C. to protect themselves with a gun. And you know, look, I mean, for instance, if you went to an FFL in Virginia or Maryland tomorrow and you bought a gun, there's nobody that you can transfer your firearm to in Washington, D.C. so that you can legally take possession of it right now.
I know.
And of course, Washington, D.C. doesn't have any carry laws on the books. In fact, you know, the local politicians there in D.C. Think the idea of a concealed carry law is dangerous. It's going to, you know, make Washington, D.C. more crime-ridden.
Well, I'm glad now that I have my own personal story. You know, I'm very lucky that I was able to bluff my way through that. You know.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who can't every day in this city, and that's one thing I'm going to be working toward for, you know, until we win, to be able to lawfully defend yourself in this city.
Well, listen, I got to tell you, Jimmy, I would be remiss if I did not encourage you to move to Virginia, where the gun laws are good, where you could get a concealed carry license, where you could carry to your heart's content, and you wouldn't have to put up with a local government there that doesn't believe that you have the right to protect yourself with a firearm.
Well, I can tell you, you know, look, whether I end up carrying a weapon with me and moving to Virginia to carry a weapon, moving to Virginia is an incentive. I mean, the law here in Washington is an incentive to make me leave.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's certainly not a place where you want to live if the government is so oppressive to do that to people. So, you know, you're absolutely right that, you know, that's an option in my life now.
Well, listen, first of all, I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that the bad guys weren't harmed, because in Washington, D.C., you're far more likely to find a bad guy with a gun than a good guy with a gun because of D.C.'s gun laws. So I'm glad that your bluff worked, and I'm really sorry that you and other good folks in D.C. are forced to bluff your way out of these incidents.
Well, I know I am too, and I you know, appreciate the opportunity to tell this story, because I'm going to be telling it quite a bit, you know, as I continue my work in promoting good legislation.
All right, now listen, I got to ask you, because I read your story at the Advocate, and then I was reading some of the comments. Oh yeah, yeah, Jimmy.
We you know, we sometimes laugh at my office because you know, we're an organization of gay conservatives, and people often ask me, you know, what's it like to be a gay person in the conservative movement, and in my case as a Republican. And I say, well, it's really a lot easier to be a gay person in the conservative movement and the Republican Party than it is to be a conservative in the gay community, because the gay left is so, I mean, the vitriol and the hate that comes from the gay left towards us, as you read, is outrageous.
It was it was eye-opening. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't read the Advocate that often, so this was kind of a new experience for me to see you slammed for your political beliefs by people who are demanding respect for their sexual orientation.
It is outrageous, and I would say we get probably 200 or 300 emails or voicemails in our office every day, or, you know, not every day, but we get 200 or 300 emails from angry liberal gay people to every one angry email or voicemail from a conservative. Rarely do we see that, and because there is a marketplace of ideas and certainly shared values in the conservative movement, and, you know, on the left there's absolutely no room for disagreement or or discussion of issues on the left. You have to be in lockstep over there.
It was like I said, it was eye opening. But listen, I'm glad that you're safe. I'm glad that you're going to become a gun owner, and I'm still going to try to convince you to move to Virginia. But
well, maybe I will.
Hey, Jimmy, thank you for coming on the program tonight, sir. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Appreciate being here. Thanks a lot, Cam.
Jimmy LaSalvia joined us from Go Proud.